There's no paycheck to depend on. You are your paycheck. Whether you make or break yourself is based on how you make or break your business. So there's a lot riding on it. There's a lot of naysayers that you meet along the way. A lot of people who say it's not going to work. It's a very difficult idea. There's a lot of competition. There's not enough consumers, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of different things that you hear.
Strong women aren't just born to live. They are forged through the challenges of life, and that's how the warrior emerges. Hi, I'm your host of the day, Dr. Shweta Singh, and I welcome you to our show, Who is She? An exciting journey of knowing the real she. Our guest for today's podcast is Miss Anika Parashar, a lady who is an epitome of success and bravery. Anika is the founder and CEO of the Women's Company, which provides women with eco-conscious essentials for their wellness and hygiene need. Miss Anika is also the founder of and chairperson of Organ India. She is TEDx speaker, Pride of India awardee. Anika has also been featured in the 3rd edition of 50 Women of Pure Wonder in India and was also the mastermind behind Mom&Me, a mom's word, which is now India's first and only comprehensive holistic health chain spanning across 7 locations through nation. And the list of her achievement continues. Anika is truly a trendsetter to the women of the present and coming generation. I welcome Anika to our show. Anika believes in saying that the entire universe is working for your good. On this note, I welcome Anika Parashar. Let's begin our podcast today. Hi Anika, it's really nice to welcome you again on our podcast show, Who is She? And to begin with, the first question, whenever I see you, whenever I read about you, the first question which always strikes me, that choosing entrepreneurship is very difficult as a career. Okay, so I chose because it was my, I would say, childhood dream to become boss. So was this choosing entrepreneurship, was this your childhood dream, or some incidents or some, I would say, circumstances led you to be an entrepreneur?
No, I think it happened very organically. I was always keen on, on pursuing something, on making my mark, on working with women, on women's issues, women's health. It was always a passion of mine, and that's why I've been in this arena for the last 20 odd years. But I've done, I've done both entrepreneurship as well as worked as a professional in organizations, and I think both have given me a lot of learning and have brought me to the point that I'm at today. So I think you do have to kind of really every point that you work, every path that you take brings you to the place that you're at the moment. Your current point.
Right. So it's like I would say since beginning you have wanted to be your own boss, lead the role you are presently leading, right?
I don't think so much about being my own boss. Boss is not something that inspires me. To be able to lead people is a privilege. It's an honor, and that's something that's happened along the way. I think what motivated me was less being a boss, but more doing my own thing on my own terms. Being able to follow my own dreams, my own passion at my own pace and at my own terms. I think that was what the motivator was, less about being a boss.
Right. Anika, tell us something about your journey, that because I know I have already interacted with you and I know how motivating and how inspiring your journey is. So I just want my viewers also to listen your journey.
Would this be a personal journey, professional journey? I mean, a little bit.
If your personal plus professional, I would say, where both merge together, actually, which can inspire other women who are holding back.
So I was born here in India, but I've grown up all over the world. So I did my primary school in Hong Kong, I did my high school in Canada, I did my university in London, and then I finally came back here about 15 years ago when my dad passed away. And I had to come back because my mother wasn't well. She was in heart failure, and I had older grandparents, and my brother wasn't very well either. So I needed to come back and be here for the family. So I moved back with, at that time, my husband and my son, who was a year old. I had studied media and marketing, and I was working in that arena in London. But then when I was pregnant with my first child, my son, before I moved back to India, I realized that I wanted to work in women's health, and I wanted to actually make an impact on women who were going through the whole prenatal, postnatal journey. So that's when I started qualifying as a birth educator, as a birth professional. I worked in fertility, in lactation, as a labor support person, and I really worked towards building up my qualifications in this space so that I could support women as best I could. And that journey, led to a whole bunch of qualifications over the years, over the next decade or so. So basically, it was. I got to the point where when I moved back to India, then I realized that I wanted to set up a space for women where they could be informed, get fit, get pampered if they were in the prenatal, postnatal stages of their life. And then I pitched to a whole bunch of companies, and finally Mahindra Mahindra invested in the concept, and they were starting Mom&Me, the stores at that point. So I worked with them on setting up 66 Mom&Me stores, and they invested in my concept. We set up these centers. They won Global Innovation Awards. They did very well. But then you couldn't actually support women that intimately in a retail space. So I realized we needed to be in a healthcare setup. And that's when we pitched to Fortis and Apollo, and finally we moved, to Apollo, and to Fortis. And we started our journey over there where we began Mama Mia, and then we went on to open 7 Mama Mia centers across the country. And eventually I went on to lead their women's hospitals as the chief operating officer, the Fortis La Femme hospitals. In between, my mom fell more ill, and she needed a heart transplant. So that time, 7 years ago, there was not a very organized donor network in North India. So we had to actually go to Tamil Nadu, to Chennai, where the transplant was then possible. And it was a very rough time because I had to leave my young children and go with my mother, waiting for a transplant. And there was a very bittersweet experience, it was to be able to, wait for a heart, so somebody else almost to pass away, to be able to give your mother life. Very, very difficult concept. But there was a very generous donor family who, gave my mother a heart of their deceased family member. And, the transplant was successful, came back to Delhi. And I found out that my husband of 13 years, was having an affair, and he moved on to be with that woman. And I had a newly transplanted, widowed mother. I had a brother who was sick, and I had, 2 young children, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I had these hospitals to run. And that's when I started Organ India, which is an NGO for transplant and donation, to be able to connect recipient and donor families. So that's been now around for the last 7 years. And we work very closely with the health ministry in that space, building awareness. And yes, then about 2 years ago, my mother died. And my brother's health got worse, so I had to leave, as the chief operating officer role, and I took a bit of a sabbatical to recover from the personal traumas and handle my personal life. And then finally, about a year ago, I started the Women's Company, and the Women's Company is an FMCG company which manufactures and curates menstrual hygiene products for women. So we have a bouquet of products ranging from pads to tampons, menstrual cups, biodegradable razors, shaving cream. We have urination devices, and that's our start. So we've been operational about a year now, and so far so good. We're growing, and let's see how it goes as we go on.
I'm sure that it will go great, Anisha, because I'm second time. I'm Anika. Sorry. So a second time, Anika, I am listening your story, and it's like every time I listen, I read about you. It's it's so inspiring, and it's like you are filled with lot of inspiration, I would say, because I cannot see a space where you have given up with so many I would say challenges, with so many obstacles in your personal and professional life. But personal, we have heard. Do you have faced any professional challenges while starting your entrepreneurial career?
Always, every time. I mean, the reality is it's difficult to start something new. You have bad days, and then you forget to believe in yourself, you forget to believe in your idea, and you have to literally motivate yourself along the way, because there's no boss who's motivating you or scaring you. There's no paycheck to depend on. You are your paycheck. I mean, whether you make or break yourself is based on how you make or break your business. So there's a lot riding on it. There's a lot of naysayers that you meet along the way. A lot of people who say it's not going to work, it's a very difficult idea, there's a lot of competition, there's not enough consumers, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of different things that you hear. But I think one of the main things is that I've learned to drown out all the noise. I wear blinders and I wear earmuffs, and literally that's how I go forward. And if I believe that if I have the right intent and the right belief, then I can make anything happen.
Great, Anika, great. One question related to your personal, because that is how because we as a woman, I think we cannot differentiate, because we have to play many roles, as you did in your life. You have to play a mother, your wife, a sister, a daughter, right? And you played so wonderfully. But being a single mother, okay, it's very difficult. It's not in India, but it's worldwide. It's a very difficult task, and you did it so wonderfully. Can you just throw some of your experiences of being a single woman, a mother?
Oh, it's really tough. It's really, really tough, because you are the last man standing. I mean, especially because now, I don't have parents either. So it's just me who's there for the kids. And it's really difficult, because you're constantly worried. Are you doing enough? Are you making up for, being a single parent? Are you, like in the time of this pandemic, I'm more worried about myself, than the children, because I feel like if something happens to me, what will happen to them, So you have all kinds of worries that go beyond, a normal family where there's two parents and there's grandparents and there's like the way I grew up, in a very normal family with two parents, four grandparents, everything easily accessible to me. But that's not how my kids have it. And being a single parent means you're at attention all the time. You have to be available all the time. You are the last man standing. So whether it's their nutrition, or they're cooking their meals, or I have a lot of help, touch wood, thank God. But it's still everything: their nutrition, their meals, their education, their emotional comfort, their physical comfort, their financial needs, all of that. So it's not an easy ride at all. And when my kids are now teenagers, so first dealing with all the toddler years and the physical, the actual physical work of being a parent, to now needing to be there more emotionally, and definitely where they have more tantrums, more drama, and have a lot more attitude as well, being teenagers. So, you've got no one else to kind of bounce off all those things. Like I could imagine my parents sharing those times together. And then I feel that sense of loneliness, because I don't have that someone to be able to talk about the children with, or my concerns about them, etc. So it's tough.
But it's really actually, I would say, prove you to be very confident and strong-headed woman. And I think somewhere these circumstances has led you grow so strong, right? And your children see you as as not only as a woman, but a strong pillar is standing in front of them, who is taking care, continuously taking care of every aspect of their life also. So that's.
Well, I hope it's me like that.
No, that is actually proven. I see in my life also. I have my son who never he doesn't know that there is difference between society discriminate between women and men. He feels I am more powerful than his father. So that's why that where I am relating that your children's must be with this thought process. They don't say it, but I know that's happening because when they say their mother is doing everything all over around, so yes, you are the strongest pillar for them, and I actually salute you for this, because very few women come forward and speak about being a single mother so strongly and confidently, and you have done it. So whosoever is...
One of the great moments of pride was for me was I found it very difficult because in every form I had to fill in father's name or husband's name, and that used to always get me very upset because I didn't have a father or a husband, but at that time my mother was alive, so I had a mother and my kids had a mother. So the biggest win for me was when on their Aadhaar cards recently it came son of Anika Parashar, daughter of Anika Parashar, and I was so proud and I was so happy that I'm the only one there, and yet their father's name would be on the card. So I was really happy when, the government of India decided to give me that acknowledgement that I am their parent.
It's actually privilege for everyone. And actually it's sounding like, wow, many my friends and many of my I know that they hesitate of doing this, and many are forced into remarriage. Either you want it or you don't want it, but it's like you have to remarry, right? So have any kind, sometime the situation came to you also, that society forcing or family or relative? No,
nothing like that. No, my family was very liberal, and I have, as you know, very little family left now. So it's not like that. I mean, I hope to find someone. I hope to find someone who's secure enough and mature enough to accept a strong woman and not be intimidated by a strong woman. Let's see if there's a man like that out there, Shweta. I will keep in touch and let you know.
No. So see, I love you so much because you are not that conventional head, which actually Indian society is. Not only Indian, but I find it outside India also. So my inclination toward you from the first day is because such a strong lady, and not dependent, not seeing what, as you said, that I have just closed my ear, closed my eye, I want to do what I wanted to do. So do you feel now with all these things complete accomplishment feeling is there, or some achievement is left out there which now also you want to pursue that?
I think definitely for me it's about growing the women's company, it's about growing Organ India, it's about being there for Nirvana and Anayat as they grow and as they go on, go on into the next phases of their life. And yes, I think also to let my hair down. I've had a tough life. I want to have I want to enjoy. I have a lot of hobbies. I like my yoga. I like playing my piano. I like cooking. I want to be able to have time to pursue those things. And yes, maybe find someone who can be my companion, someone to love, and someone to be there for me too. So those are kind of where I see my life going. Now the rest is, man proposes, God disposes. Let's see what the universe has in store.
Yes. Anika, I just wanted to know that one thing, because I also want that one thing which keeps you motivated every time, because I think that will be advice I'll be taking and the viewers will also be taking.
Shweta, it's not that one thing. The thing keeps shifting. I mean, it's just about what gets you passionate. Like, because of what my family went through, Organ India became like a drive. It became a passion inside me. Because my daughter's hitting that stage of menstruation and puberty, it was very important to me to find the right solution in that space. So it's about what drives you. And what drives me is personal stuff. It's very personal. So, if it's personal enough to matter, and, I have the ability to make it something professionally, I've been lucky like that. So I may have had a tough life, but I'm also lucky where I've managed to see things come to life. I've been able to see dreams come to life. So, I think it's a different thing that motivates me every time, but it's always from inside. It's very internal. The drive, the passion is very internal. It's the need to see something be better, see a better solution, to see, some kind of upliftment for somebody, and that's a need. It's become a need inside me.
And one last advice to the existing or aspiring women entrepreneurs?
Always be authentic. Always, follow your gut. Don't, if we tend to play roles and, take on fake auras as we play these roles. But it doesn't really get us anywhere. If we're authentic, that's when we actually manage to achieve things, and that's when we're actually true to all the roles that we play. So if you really want to be able to juggle all those balls of handling family and work and friends and husbands and hobbies and all of that, then the juggler has to be okay. And if you're the juggler, you have to be fine. And the only thing that keeps us fine and keeps disease away and keeps emotional distress away and all of that is authenticity. When we're real and we're truthful to ourselves, we're fine and we're whole. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Anika. Thank you so much for such a inspiring explaining your journey, talking about your personal, professional stuff, and the piece of advice which you have given. Because see, I always believe that either is an aspiring entrepreneur or entrepreneur like you and me who have already grown up to a level, but we always keep learning from each other, and your journey is commendable and you are a commendable woman, I would say. Thank you so much for being on our show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anika, I must say that all your work and achievements are commendable, and we were pleased to have you with us in today's episode. We wish you a lot of happiness, strength and luck with all you do in your future. Keep inspiring and keep smiling and keep excelling. Thank you.